So my boy Exil yesterday released a video. The meta that ruined League could be finally over. Yeah. See, the thing is, I'm pretty sure we're talking about the tank meta, the durability meta, which is kinda sussy, which is kinda boring, bro. It's not as action-packed as, let's say, Season 3, where everything was broken, everyone was dealing lots of damages, everyone was one-shotting everyone, everything was broken, bro. If everything is broken, nothing is broken. That was fun times to play. Right now in tank meta, bro, it's kinda chill, kinda boring. So let's see what this video is all about. Lucian Amibot, oh my god, that's cancer. Yumi, yeah. Zoro, yeah. Ability power dash support, yeah.
Are we gonna first pick Zeri? Or are we gonna first pick Nami? Wow, does that mean we're gonna get Zeri, Lulu, Maokai? And we're gonna get Vi and Lucian or something?
There's no
way that'll be the draft for the 900th time. Oh, the plot twist! They took the Vi instead of the Maokai! No way! Does that mean they get the Maokai? Oh my god! Oh, that's crazy! And now they get the Lulu, right? No way! No way! How did that happen?
Jesus, man. Dude, I'm so sick of seeing Lucian Nami, though. I'm so sick of seeing Lucian Nami and Yumi every game, bro.
It was disgusting.
Done with it.
Hundreds of pro players around the world, scrimming hundreds of games a week. And they've all come to the same conclusion of this is how the game should be played. And with all of them coming to that conclusion, I feel like the game is just so figured out that there's no room for innovation.
That's where the word meta comes in, chat. Meta means most efficient tactic available, if you break it down, yeah. That's meta. And these champions were the most efficient, if you want to get LP. Oh my god, yeah, that was disgusting, by the way. Lucian is always disgusting. And Yumi.
I don't think that I would normally put extra stock into content creators saying that pros keep defaulting to the same champions, because that's just normal League stuff, isn't it? I can already kind of see you typing your comment right now. Pros playing the same champions every game? Well, water's wet, Pope is Catholic, League sucks. Aren't these just facts of life at this point? And fair enough, but this situation might be a little bit more of an issue than normal.
Yeah, because realistically, in the previous seasons, we didn't have the severity of this case as we have right now. I'm going back to Season 4, Season 5, Season 6, sure. Those were not the best season because Season 3 was the best. But bro, we had variety of champions. We didn't have the one single champion that if you don't pick it, you lost the game.
These two guys, Kadril and Dom, are two of the most passionate and knowledgeable voices for competitive League of Legends. Both are former pro players. Kadril is a caster, and Dom co-streams a lot of pro matches, even for NA, which not only impresses me for his commitment, but also proves that he's a masochist. And when they both highlighted the exact same problem within the first week of pro play coming back, which should normally be a very exciting time as there's new teams and new storylines, I felt that it was worth discussing. I believe the biggest reason is that even though it's a brand new season, hardly anything changed, and it almost feels like we're in the exact same meta as we were during the World Championship. And it's not just pro play, but also solo queue, especially in two roles, bot and jungle. These two roles have been completely squeezed with very low variety on what actually works, and this...
True that, as a jungler player I can tell you that, yeah, it's absolutely true, bro. You want to climb, you just select the bruiser and you just camp bot side. Ignore top, well top is always ignored. Ignore middle, sure get the Drake now and then, maybe Shelly, forget about Shelly. Just camp bottom as a bruiser. That's it, get your bottom ahead, that's it, you win the game.
This has caused the player base to react in a way that's honestly warranted. A majority of the time, gaming communities can be extremely hypocritical and full of baseless overreactions, but in this case, I feel we really do have the right to call out Riot for their incompetence here, questioning what in the world they've been doing considering the preseason changed very little, and the season cinematic is arguably the biggest fail in the history of the game. In the bot lane, only a few champions and strategies are viable. There's essentially two categories. You can pick the broken duos of Lucian Nami, who are nearly always picked together, or some combination of ADC, Zeri, and Sivir, plus Lulu and Yumi for support, and pros will just mix and match these based on whatever they get.
But Yumi has been removed, yeah, with the last patch Yumi has been removed. At least a bit of a good news for the bot lane.
If you're not seeing this, most of the time you're going to play against a bot lane that has unbeatable pushing priority, which would be like Ashe, Caitlyn, or Varus ADC paired with Heimerdinger, Karma, or Ashe support.
Yep.
And in quite a few cases now, we're getting double 80 carries in the bot lane. Caitlyn support, Kalista support, Jhin support, Varus support. Keria is on a warpath determined to play any ADC in the support role.
Like, Keria just woke up, he was so salty. He looked at his ADC though. Gumayusi, look at me. I'm the supporter. I'm the ADC right now. Yeah. Look at me. I'm the captain now.
I swear, if Keria and his ADC Gumayusi could pick 2 Caitlyn's or 2 Ashes right now, they probably would.
Asking the
For
big
these
questions.
pushing compositions, how come they're able to play a bot lane that was never able to succeed in the past? Where's the Blitzcrank all-in? How come they don't just play Samira Rel into this? The thing is that pushing priority in lane control has never been more important than it is now, largely due to turret plating and neutral objectives being so powerful. You can get away with what should be an inferior composition just because of the early game map control. It can be tough to give away dragons. When Riot buffed Drakes, my initial thought was that bot lane priority is going to be even more important than it already was. When a team goes up something like 2 Drakes to 0, while it's not necessarily true that they're guaranteed to win and get soul, it's...
Now think about, bro. Yeah, actually the focus is going towards the bot lane. Now think about, bro. In a way, we are going back to Season 3. Because in Season 3, we had a strategy of 5 ADCs going topside and buying red potions. And at 4 minutes you would have inhibitor. Technically the same idea, but not exactly, you know?
such a fantastic lead that teams aren't willing to give it. Pro junglers this season have shown such a high priority that they're out here soloing it as a level 3 poppy. A big part of this equation that I've seen some pros talking about is the support items themselves. When the support can generate more than enough gold simply by hitting the enemy with spells and autoing the turret from range with either the Spell Thiefs or the Sickle, it can trivialize the laning phase. The melee supports have to walk up and get hit with spells and trade health just to generate any gold. The
True that, bro. Imagine playing melee support. Just imagine.
disadvantage of being melee is constantly punished, while the range support is reaping all of the benefits every time you walk up. And because the jungle meta has been squeezed into S tier only, which we'll get to in a moment, a common thing you're seeing now is junglers who do leashless. At the highest levels of play, bot lane is no longer leashing. They are always contesting the push from level 1.
This is why we play in bronze, and we flame everyone who doesn't leash me in bot side as a jungler, you know? We do not want to go to the higher levels of divisions of the pro play. No, fuck that, we're staying in bronze.
2 marksmen, both with Halo Blades, walking up to you level 1, taking all of your health and blowing your sums. As interactive and fun as that might seem, you can take my word for it. It isn't. As
This
for the
was
support
disgusting.
80 carry, they don't really lack resources because the game tends to end before that even matters anyway. Your team is going to dominate to the point of no return. In theory, Caitlyn support should have problems taking resources away from the 80 carry, but they're not. 1,000 gold is generated rather quickly from the support item. They can take all the plates bot lane, they can take all the plates mid lane, secure Drake, secure Herald, and win the game even with just one item, typically being Umbral Glaive, which is a cheap and cost-effective supportive item. Double range bot is very strong, and one of the only ways you can deal with it is by picking a broken duo. For these OP combos, it's true that they don't have the same priority early game, but on 2 to 3 items, they're complete juggernaut hyper carries, stronger than we've ever seen. Some of the hyper carries that come to mind in game history are like Jinx or Twitch or Kog'Maw, and it's true, they are monsters on 6 items, but it doesn't
Yeah,
really
you need the late game for those champions, yeah.
compare to a Sivir or Zeri who have a Yuumi attached. The only reason that we see this scaling bot lane in a meta that is so reliant on early game is because nothing beats this late game. It is genuinely going to take nerfing both of the champions into the ground and reworking them to make pros stop picking Zeri and Yuumi.
Straight up, that's what we did right now with Yuumi.
And that's exactly what Riot is trying to do. They are doing their best to effectively remove
There we go.
Yuumi from the game because we've never seen an unbeatable combo quite like this. We need Dragon and Herald and Baron because it forces action, and in theory they're great for the game, but it's not always interesting at the moment, especially for some of the early Dragon takes. It's kinda lame how either you pick a pushing bot and you can contest first Drake, or you just give it. This meta is so... what's the word we can use? Boring? Maybe that's not quite right. Brainless? Is that a bit harsh, maybe? How about predetermined? Sure. Let's go with predetermined.
Brainless.
First 20 minutes of the game versus Lucian Nami. Okay, we can never trade. After 20 minutes against Zeri Yuumi. Okay, we can't fight anymore. Laning phase versus Caitlyn Ashe. Okay, we can't play the game. Just uninstall and go play Elden Ring. This is what bot lane looks like every game now. No leash for the jungler, fight at level 1, and seize control. Caitlyn Ashe bot lane steps on you level 1, Caitlyn gets a double kill.
Hold up, what did you say?
And seize control. Caitlyn Ashe bot lane steps on you level
I mean, Ashe and Caitlyn can sit on me anytime.
1, Caitlyn gets a double kill, and the game feels doomed. The point is that this just feels so bad to play, regardless of balance. Maybe you could even come up with some numbers, and Riot can provide data to say that this is reasonable. X champion does actually beat Y champion on average Z amount of the time. While logic should state that we'll trust the numbers here, ultimately what I'm trying to articulate is a feeling. If you want to play a lower tier bot lane, good luck. Picking something like Jinx Janna, which is a classic lane, I'm sure many of us have played it countless times, should now be reportable for griefing because this lane is unplayable. The jungle roster also feels like it's impossible to play anything that's not meta. The gatekeeping factor for junglers last season was all based around clear speed and the ability to kite camps, and while it is true that that's no longer as big of a deal,
True that, but also those fuckers decided to remove the double camps. Yeah, since last season they decided to remove the double camp taking, so I'm still salty about that.
it does not mean the problem is solved, it's just different now. The first clear beats you up so bad that if you try to play an off-meta jungler, it's not going to go very well. Even though a core thing that they wanted to outline and accomplish with this new season's jungle was to make more off-meta junglers viable, they have not done that.
I mean, they have done that only in Bronze, bro. But realistically, in Bronze, anything can be off-meta. Once again, the reason we stay in Bronze, bro, is just way too fun in there.
Maokai, Vi, or Sejuani will gank 5 times before level 6. Wukong will dive your bot lane. Kindred or Udyr will invade you. You get the idea. You are hard capped into playing the best junglers in the game who can go leashless and gank bot lane. If you can't do that, your life is going to be way harder than it should be. The other jungler is playing an Exodia champion who can do it all, and you're just trying to complete one clear. This is even more of an issue in competitive play because, again, the neutral objectives are a total game changer, and missing out on the smite upgrades makes it no longer a 50-50. The team whose jungler has the smite advantage has all the priority on the objective, which, from my understanding and what I had thought, wasn't that the entire reason Riot changed it in the first place? Remember when smite used to be based on your champion's level? We're sort of back to somewhat of a similar problem. That's the issue outlined, so what do we have in the future? Could we finally get a new meta? Maybe. The best news to come out of League of Legends over the past couple of weeks is that many of the things that were talked about in this video have been at least addressed, acknowledged, or talked about by Riot, and most of the things as well have been nerfed or are going to get nerfed. Yuumi is no longer a problem on this current patch.
Finally.
But it's not for a good reason. It's because they had to nerf the champion so much that she is now effectively unplayable and is going to get reworked. She's
Good. Just keep her the way she is. Just remove her from the game.
been put into a dead state very similar to how Zeri was about 6 months ago, and we all saw how that turned out. Umbral Glaive got nerfed, Radiant Virtue got nerfed, Riot could be looking to double down on the Radiant Virtue nerfs and hitting it again. Riot has buffed melee supports across the board: Alistar, Nautilus, Braum, Pantheon, Pyke, Rakan, and Thresh. These types of champions should have been the counter to ranged supports, and they simply were not. In order to make more champions have a viable clear, they need to do individual targeted buffs. The issue is that their history of doing this is often not very good. They've done these kinds of changes in the past. One time they did it with Morgana, where she was hard forced into being the best jungler in the game. She dominated for a while, was pick and ban in pro, got nerfed, and now isn't a jungler anymore.
Not with that attitude, brother. Well, come to Bronze, I will show you.
A sick balancing, I guess. And just recently, we got the early notes for patch 13.4. This is one of the more promising and optimistic patches for me in quite
Who the fuck is little kidney?
a while, because I'm honestly on board with about 80 to 90% of these changes, which I do not often feel about League of Legends patches, and it also seems that some prominent members of the community are also pretty happy about it. We're addressing the Spell Thieves and Spectral Sickle, which is great, Relic Shield and Steel Shoulder Guards buffs, which is awesome for melee supports. At the time of recording this video, I have no idea exactly what they mean by jungle sustain and clear speed, but I can only hope it frees up the jungle meta and means that we can finally see some new picks. I truly believe that.
Also, how about we talk about the idea of invading enemy jungle, eh? Because right now, when you are clearing your jungle, I feel like I was in Riot August stream. Yeah, probably it was his stream. And I've asked the question, brother, what's going on with the jungle, bro? Why? We're not removing the fact that we're dealing less damage to enemy jungle and we're doing to our jungle. Like, what is this with armors and magic resistance? Because right now, bro, you can kill your Gromp, for example, in 20 seconds, yeah? Take the same scenario, the same abilities, the same auto attack speed, exactly same settings, yeah? And apply it to the enemy Gromp. You will kill enemy Gromp with exactly same abilities, exactly same everything, in 28 seconds, for example, 26. Why? Because it's not that enemy Gromp has magic resistant armor and more HP, it's that you are not dealing bonus damage to enemy jungle. You are, as a jungler, you're dealing bonus damage to your jungle. That's an interesting thing. But you are not doing that to enemy jungle. So your invades are slightly being punished right now. That's kinda sad. As a jungler who likes to invade, who's playing Kha'Zix, who's playing Rengar, who's playing Nunu, who's playing Shaco, like, brother, I would love to invade. But unfortunately we cannot do that, because we're being punished right now. I asked, like, brother, can we still have this in the game because of the new players? Because jungle is, I don't know, people say it's a difficult role, it's actually not, just kill the minions. And do the things and gank and control the objectives and focus on the prio and ward the things and focus on the objectives. But you get the idea, it's pretty basic. They say that, bro, jungle is kinda difficult and not welcoming to new players. So to make it easy for the new players, we don't want them to be invaded. So I said, okay, sure, fair point. If we're looking at the casual player, sure, we want to welcome new, more casual players to the jungle, sure, why not? But how about we remove this fucking debuff from minute 7? The moment your second blue or red spawns, how about we remove it? Sure, let's go with the round number, 10 minutes. How about we do that in 10 minutes, eh? Just remove it so I can actually do the proper clear in the enemy jungle. Yeah, sure, as a new player, you just enjoyed your jungle for 10 minutes, but you know, it is what it is. You have to leave your comfort zone. How about that? So yeah, I do hope they'll remove that. I hope they'll do something about that right now.
Biggest reason that League of Legends has been able to sustain a long-term player base is because the game always changes.
Yep,
the game
changing.
is different year to year, and as it stands right now, the game is not different enough from the previous year or honestly even the previous 2 years. So thank you, Riot, for addressing the problem. Keep doing it, make more changes, mix up the meta, and let's play a new game. Let me know what you guys think of the current patch and the upcoming changes for League. Are you excited for them? Are you a little bit optimistic or maybe even pessimistic? Do you trust that Riot will change the game? Or are you perfectly happy with the way it is now? Whatever you think, feel free to let me know in the comments down below, and I'll see you guys next time.
I mean, knowing Riot, they always focus on the pro play. That is the problem, although in the Necrets video we saw that Riot is trying to target casual player. If they target a casual player, which means we are bringing back the element of fun into the game. Because if we follow the pro play, pro scene, bro, everything is coming from Korea, because Koreans are freaks. When it comes down to gaining or being the most efficient, these guys create metas. These guys figure out what's the most efficient strategy, and they do it, and we follow them. And as far as I'm concerned, bro, have you ever watched LCK? That shit is boring. Bro, there's no fights, there's no nothing. They're just straight up macros, straight up objectives. They end the game, 10 kills, 12 kills, on both sides. That's it. There's literally no fighting, bro. This game is about fighting. Well, technically, when it comes down to the core of it, it's about macro, sure. But bro, there is no soul in it. We need to have the soul, you know? We need to have some element of fun and fighting. So how about we focus towards a bit of fun, eh? How about we do that? By introducing a bit of something broken now and then, eh? Just an idea.